Hey, I'm Chef T, or Miss Selvage. I am over in what is this, 43, right?
43.
Yeah, W43. And we are going to be cooking today, doing a little demonstration. So just up front, we are cooking, we're doing smothered pork chops. So I'm gonna fry the pork chops, smother them. We've already sauteed our vegetables, thanks to one of my other students. And we're gonna get the pork chops ready, and you get to see all of the different things that you're gonna be doing. You'll get to see them from start to finish. Hopefully you enjoy it, and if you like it, get with me so I can get you set up to be in Pro Start next year. If you're in the 9th or 10th grade, let me know. I can get you in food science, I can get you in consumer science, so you can get yourself started to start moving on up. So this is Kim, this is Heather, or is it the other way around?
No, it's Kim and Heather.
Okay, so it's Kim
Heather
and
Kim.
Kim and Heather.
Okay, well, Heather and Kim, whoever they are, they're here. So I got a question. Before we can get started with anything, start moving anything around, touching anything, what do we need to do?
Put gloves on.
Oh, look at you, girl.
Go
They
ahead.
They got it. You don't know the gloves yet?
They're over there in that
she
green
a little crazy.
cabinet.
Let me go get them.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll get them later. We're just doing a little intro right now, so come on back. Yeah, anyway, so that's what we were doing. So we're going to get our gloves. We got everything all set. We have our pots, our pans. Our meat is here. We're going to prep everything. We have our seasoning, our rice, our paper towels, everything. Before we get started with anything, we have to make sure we have everything. So give us a second. We'll be right back. We're going to show you what we're going to do.
Hey guys, so my name is Heather and I'm going to be making the corn. So we're taking fire roasted corn. This has better flavor basically. This is a roasted flavor, but before we can get started cooking it, you want to drain the water that's in here because it's full of sodium and it's mainly preservative, so you don't want to cook with it. Okay, so now that you drain the corn, we're going to put both of these into a pot. Perfect. And now we're going to go in with 2 tablespoons of sugar. Okay. Okay, now we have a half a stick of cold butter. And then a half a teaspoon of salt. Okay. And I'm gonna turn the heat on medium and let this simmer for about 10 minutes and stir occasionally.
Hey guys, it's Kimberly. So we are going to be seasoning the pork chops with cayenne pepper, Tony Satchers, onion powder, and garlic powder, and vinaigrette. Alright, so next I am going to take my hands and basically mix everything together. What I'll do is take every single one of those pork chops that I just mixed up and put them in a Ziploc bag to basically let them marinate. And then make sure you close the bag up very tightly. And then that is it so far.
Alright guys, so you saw Heather and Kim get our corn ready and get our pork chop seasoning ready. So a few little things you want to notice. This is a hot mess. I'm sure you see it. They had to leave, but before they left, they should have did some things. Cleaned up after themselves. Sanitation is key. You will learn even in your certification testing that we work on certifications because we do clean and I don't do bugs. Okay? Anyway, so that means this needs to be thrown away because we can't use it because it's been left out. This should have been moved because it has that meat that was in there, which can cause all kinds of germs and bacteria. So we're going to take this completely out the way, set it to the side, deal with it later. The glove goes in the trash. All right, so back to me. Again, hairnet, gloves, apron. We don't want any problems. So we're going to do a whole lot of things right here. So move with me real quick. I'm going to be simultaneously working on a bunch of different things, okay? So you saw the girls season this meat. I had them lightly season the meat because they're not quite yet accustomed to how it should look. I don't use measurements because I use my eyesight. I'll teach you measurements, but I use my eyesight because I've been doing this over 20 years. So I can look at this meat. She seasoned it pretty good. She seasoned it lightly, just like I said. But the reason I still have that there is because I have to season it more. Now, if you look at this meat, I seasoned this meat. She seasoned this meat. There's a difference. So, this meat is a little heavily seasoned, but it's not heavy where it won't taste it. Because what's going to happen is, this is going to get floured. When I flour this, I don't put seasoning in my flour unless I'm frying chicken, of course. But I'm not going to do it with the pork chops because I've already seasoned it heavily. However, I will need to go back and add a little bit more seasoning to this because when I put it in the flour, some of that's going to fall off. But I want to make sure that it sticks to it and the coating is right. Then, when I put it in the grease to fry it, I'm not frying it completely because we're smothering this. So when you're smothering pork chops, you just kind of fry just a little bit because pork chops, whether people know it or not, can be overcooked and they can get tough. And you be trying to figure out why it's chewing and it tastes like rubber because you overcooked it, sweetie. It's pretty, but you overcooked it. So we're going to season this just a little bit more because she did just what I told her, a light season because I didn't want her to over season. So let's add a little bit more season to this real quick. What I have to do now, I got to take my gloves off. I'm going to grab it right here, pull it this way so that my hands don't get touched. Then I'm going to take my fingers, put it in here, and bam, gloves in the trash, right? So there's a reason I threw those away because now I have to grab all my seasoning. And I don't want to transfer all this to that. We do it all the time. You're in the house, you're making your noodles, you got your little ramen, you got your cayenne, you done put all this stuff in it, you done mixed all up, you done stirred it, you put all this in, and you done touched all this. So now you've cross-contaminated everything. So if you're going to be in this class, you're going to learn real well. We don't do that. So right now I'm going to go ahead and season. You're not going to do a lot, but she already seasoned it, remember? We're just going to add a little bit more. And remember, I don't know if she told you or not, but this vinaigrette, this is for to help break down some of those fibers in there so it's not all chewy and tough. Alright, and if you don't have vinaigrette, don't worry about it. Go grab your Thousand Island dressing or the Italian. It works the same way. So now, we got all our seasoning on there. We're done. Oh, another thing about the salt. If you're ever wondering on the ingredient, what the most I guess what the heaviest ingredient is or whatever is in it the most. If you look on the back of your label, if you look at your ingredient list, the very first thing on your ingredient list is what you have the most of. This has the most salt, so you have to be very careful about that. So now we done seasoned this. That's already been seasoned, so we're good with that. And give me just a second, we're gonna come right back. I'm gonna go ahead and season this, do the same thing with this. I already got my grease getting hot because we're gonna take this, gonna drop it in the grease, we're gonna fry it a little bit, but we're not gonna cook it completely. Flip it over, fry a little bit more. It's nice and brown, looking all crispy. Your mama in there cooking, you're like, oh, mama, it ain't ready, I can just get a little piece. And then you go in there when she ain't looking, and you grab a little piece on the corner, it ain't cooked, fool. You just ate raw meat. So just hold on when she says she's smothering, because smothering, whether it's chicken, fish, or whatever, you're pre-cooking it. So we're gonna flour it, batter it, get it in here, start flipping it. When I come back, you're gonna see it frying. It's gonna look so good, but you can't eat it, all right? Give me 1 second, be right back. Hey guys, we back. Remember I told you that we were getting ready to flour. Remember that we have 2 sets of things here. The reason we have 2 sets is because I seasoned this separately and this was seasoned separately. So these are 2 different batches. I don't want to mix them because they may have 2 different flavors. And this personally is my personal batch and it's spicier. So I don't want to, mix them up when I do it. But when I put them in the grease, that won't matter. I'm just going to do them in batches. All right, so y'all remember Heather, she's back. Heather is over here without a hairnet, so she's going to step away and get a hairnet because we ain't doing that. So watch this. We're going to flour this. Switch our flour a little bit. Alright, so Heather going to flour this one, and I'm going to flour this one. We're going to go ahead and get it all coated and battered, and then we're going to get ready to get it in the grease. Our grease is going. Our grease is warm. Now, don't stick your finger in there to touch it because it ain't water. Well, you ain't want to do that with water, actually, but don't stick your finger in there. You should use a thermometer. Again, I'm not using a thermometer. I've been doing this a long time. Quit playing with me. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and season this right up. Oh, y'all, check this out. Look at this girl up in here with this flour and ain't have on no apron. Bye, Heather.
Oh my.
Alright, here we go. Bone going in. I'm going to slide this in here. Come on over here so you can get this good shot. So I just put that in there, and what I did was I turned my grease down now. Because now I need that to cook a little bit. And I don't want it to brown too fast.
What's the most exciting thing about being here with Miss Elvis?
Eating the food.
At least she
Eating the food. It's definitely not the work.
So how can someone go about joining this classroom next year if they want to?
Okay, I gotta go to Miss Salvage, let her know that you want to be interested, and she'll go talk to the guidance counselors. And put you in there.
That's what we're going to do, but before I can figure that out, we're going to have a Google form. And you're going to be able to see that because they're going to have QR codes going to be on your announcement, so just be looking for it. Get in the Google Classroom for Tara. the one for all the students, because there's a lot of information that goes on that you don't know about that we're doing, and you can get it all there, and the one that's for just your class. Ha ha! Well, look at that golden brown pork chop, man. Man, that's good. You make want to bite it out.
They do.
Yeah, don't bite it. It ain't done.
Alright.
There's a reason I do this with the flour, because when I go to make my gravy, my homemade gravy, I don't have to use a lot of flour, and I got to use this oil. So I dust it like this. I put it in there, get it fried. As they come out, I'm dropping them over here in this pot. I'm gonna drop them in this pot, and then when I start adding my broth to this, it's gonna look a little watery. You're gonna see it when I get to it. It's gonna look like the pork chops, like I took them fresh, hot pork chops and stuck them in water. Then when I go over here for to make my grease, with my gravy, which I'm gonna make from this same grease, because this is where all your seasoning is. I'm gonna make that, and that water that's sitting in there that now has been soaked up all that seasoning that's in that pork chop. When I add that gravy to it and start mixing it, boy, I'll tell you it's gonna be good. It's gonna be so good. Move around. So again, we got the pork chops. As they're getting done, I'm just taking them out, putting them over here in this pot. Let them sit there. All right, so look here. I'm not gonna measure this, but I'm just gonna tell you the ratio. Most of the time, for most rice, it is 1 cup rice, 2 cups water. Shouldn't be no problem to mess it up. I mean, I know people mess up rice all the time. Just remember, 1 cup rice, 2 cups water, whatever you do it. Don't worry about this here, because I'm not going to use no measuring cup, because I told you I do this, right? Okay, so look, put your water in here, add your little butter so you can have a little flavor, because that gives you flavor to your water. I personally put seasoning in my water, because I like it to be like a little basmati type of thing, with biryani, with flavor and stuff, because you can just eat my rice by itself. I'm going to get this rice boiling. So I'm going to get this a little stir. Remember, I put butter and salt in this water. You can put a little extra in there if that's what you want to do to flavor the rice. I do it. I just like the way it tastes, depending on what your taste buds are. I'm going to stir this rice. I'm going to get this rice back up to a boil. Once this rice begins to boil, I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to turn it down because I don't want my rice to just boil. I want my rice to cook. So once that pot starts boiling real good back again, I'm going to turn the rice down, let it simmer a little bit, and let it keep going. Okay, now let's move along. Sugar. It's your friend if you use it right. I use sugar in my corn because you can't eat gravy and rice with pork chops and not have no sweet corn. What's wrong with you? Right. So remember those pork chops that we set over here? They still sitting over here. They ain't bothering nobody. They get nice and crispy. Look, y'all hear it? That's that crispy. Don't you bite that. I told you it wasn't done. Don't bite it. I know it'll get you. Don't bite it. I'm gonna take it, sit it to the side. All right, so check this out. I set this on top of this counter because I know what kind of countertop this is made of. It's not gonna burn. So I set that to the side because I'm getting ready to make that gravy. You know that good gravy? Let me grab my stuff. I need equal parts fat, which is my oil, and I'm using the same oil that I just cooked that pork chop in because it's flavored. So I want that oil, right? But guess what? This big old skillet got a lot of oil in it. I only want like a cup because I want a cup of oil and a cup of flour. That's my ratio. Fat to flour, right? And I'm finna make my gravy. But I want that stuff, this little stuff here. Come look at this. To the bottom right here, that's that flour and them bits that came off of there. Remember I told you, the reason I flour this is so I don't have to use so much flour when I get ready to do this. So all that flour down there, that's flavor. So now I got to get this excess oil out here that I don't need and measure what I do need and then come back and make it. So give me just a second. We're going to get this out of here. I'm not washing the skillet. I want everything in there. That's not burnt, dirty in it. I want that. Give me a second. Be right back. I don't care what your ingredients are. If you're cooking a savory dish and it calls for water, use broth. If you're making macaroni and cheese, use broth. It doesn't matter what you're using. Don't use water, use broth. If you can't make it, buy it. Not a problem. Same thing with bacon. If it calls for water, use milk. Don't always taste better. And margarine and butter are two different things. Stop saying it. Because if I tell you go and get the butter and you come back with a margarine container, we're going to have a problem. That's two different things. Margarine is oil, water, thinking it's butter. It's like a fake butter. Butter is real taste. It's oil and ooh, butter make it better. Butter make it better, baby. Look. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get this going. Remember I told y'all this corn, I was going to boil that water all the way out of. It's done. Bam. We turn it off. Now, all that water reduced down to where you're not really seeing anything but just that little bubble right there. Most of that's just the oil and water that's cooking down, but it's done. Now I'm just gonna slide it over here in the warmer so it can be out of my way. I ain't gonna fool with it. I already tasted it. It's bomb! It's good. I ain't gonna even lie. Don't get scared. It's good, girl. Don't get scared. Check this out. I'm gonna get the flour first because if I get the oil first and then put that oil in here, yeah, that ain't good. That's nasty. So we're gonna go ahead and get this. Oh, I'm doing this, but try not to do what I just did. Scoop down in here because it's gonna pack. That's for baking. This don't matter. But if you're baking, don't do this because you're packing. You do better taking a spoon and just dropping a little bit on there, and then taking a knife and shaving it off the top. But for this, it doesn't matter. This gonna sizzle. I ain't burning nothing. Calm down. Now I'm mixing this. Remember, I already had some oil in here, so I haven't added any more oil yet because I didn't see how much I need. But for you, you're probably gonna do yours straight fresh out the skillet. So for that reason, I would just do the measurements. Stick to the measurements. This is so important. Two things gonna happen. First, don't get it twisted. We in Louisiana. I need the Trinity: onion, bell pepper, celery. However, I like a little extra, so I add a little garlic to mine too because I like garlic. I've already sauteed it. I use fresh. Frozen is fine if that's your thing, but I use fresh. Nari already seasoned and sauteed this down with butter, not margarine. She already did that, so I'm gonna drop this in here. I'm gonna turn it up. I'm gonna turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. I turn my fire back on. I'm gonna keep this moving because again, residual heat will keep your stuff cooking. This is cold. I did this a long time ago. So it's gonna cool it down. If it cools it down, it's gonna break my gravy. When I say break, your oil is going to separate from your flour. And then that nasty. That ain't gravy, that's dirty water. Well, now I gotta turn my fire back on. You see it done got back smooth. Look at this.
Oh, you.
That's what you want. Now I'm gonna take this. If you look, there are little bitty bubbles in here, and that's that oil. It's boiling. It's cooking again. But I want it to get hot. I want it to sizzle. So when I pour this in there, it's whoosh. I'm gonna go like that. Hold on a second. So it heated it back up. I'm gonna leave it on for a second because I need to go ahead and get hot. So I'm gonna leave it for a second. Hey, remember I put that water in here and I told y'all that flavor was gonna go in here because I didn't have broth? If you look at this now, that ain't clear no more. It has taken on all of the characteristics of the pork chops. Now that this gravy mix, basically which is our roux, our base, has heated up, we got this going, you got all that flavor going, the corn finished. I already did the rice, it's back there. It's good, it ain't sticky. Anyway, remember our seasoning? When I got this, it was fresh seasoning, so it was filled to the top. By the time it was sauteed, it came down, looked like I don't really have anything, but this is packed. But so much goodness, it's unbelievable. So now I'm gonna take this, and I gotta dump it in here. Come on, come in. Now look what's happening to my stuff. I added that seasoning, and now it's thickening it up. And it's thickening it up so much it almost looks gooey and sticky and chalky, but that's what you want. Now we're finna do that thing I was telling you about that most people forget. They think that when they do this, they're done. You're not. This is not done. Do not take this gravy base, and pour it in there. Get my measuring cup. Go into my broth that I got over here. Spoon in hand. Easy, slow, little bit at a time. Alright, so I took my cup, took a little bit of this mix, I put it in here about how much I thought I wanted, and now I'm gonna put it in there. Because now I can take some of the drops, drop it in there. This is still cooking because the heat is on, so I'm gonna stir it a little bit. Make sure it don't burn. Even though I turned the fire off, like you gotta turn the fire off. Now that I got it mixed, I'm not throwing my extra gravy away. Move it out the way. I'm gonna sit it right there. I'm done with that. This right here, unless I want to thicken my gravy up some more and it's not the consistency that I want, I can just keep adding. Red beans, gumbo, whatever, you just keep adding, it doesn't matter. But, check it, don't just start adding. Check it, add it in there, stir it, let it cook down a little bit, and then you're gonna know. Final steps, we done. Rice done, pork chops done, gravy done, corn done. I'm going back now because now I'm seasoning to taste. I can't tell you how to season your food. All I can tell you is my food tastes good. Woo, it tastes good. But anyway, liquid smoke. Please don't put too much. If you put too much liquid smoke trying to make your stuff taste all smoky and seasoning, you're going to get an aftertaste that's going to taste so horrible and bitter. So watch. The pot, watch this. That's all I need. I like spice. So this is ground white pepper. I've already used my red pepper. I've already used my black pepper. I've already used my green pepper. I use all 4 peppers because they give all 4 different tastes. All right, the last thing I put in here was the thyme leaves. I use dry thyme leaves. It's gonna go boom, gonna get that little oregano type taste, but it's not oregano, so don't mix them up. That's for that's like a spaghetti sauce and pasta. All right, it's gonna give me like that little wild taste, a little wild factor. I'm gonna plate it up, and y'all gonna see what it look like. 1 second. Now this is smothered pork chops with gravy. Yeah, look at it.
Real good.
That's that smell of vision. You can't eat it. Back up, you can't eat it.
I love the pork chop. It's cooked perfectly. It's flavorful. This could use more seasoning.
Okay, hey, slow motion.
He said slow motion. That's so funny.
I taste pork. I taste rice.
I taste cheese.
But I love that. Actually, I disagree. I think I love the gravy because it's got that good southern taste. It's got that flour and grease. I love some flour and grease. So I love it.
So 1 out of 10?
It's delicious. I mean, if I just had a little bit of salt right there,
That's what I'm saying.
honestly,
And
it'd be perfect.
when you go somewhere, you know, if you want to
Okay,
add to the
1 out of 10?
packets, you can add to the salt.